Hi, tonight's story is Christmas in the Bush. What will Christmas be like this year, Josh wondered as he arrived at his dad's farm. Christmas with Mum in the city was always so much fun. The farm was a fun place for holidays with Dad, his dog Scout, and the bush near the house. But Christmas? Will we have a Christmas tree, Dad? He said. Dad shook his head. We're not cutting one down and bringing it inside, if that's what you mean. Oh, said Josh, and he was quiet for a while, and then he said, will Santa come? Dad shook his head again. I don't think Santa comes out this far in the wops. Will we have a big Christmas dinner with ham and turkey and a pavlova for dessert? Dad shook his head for a third time. No, but I've got something special up my sleeve. Special? Cool. What is it? Said Josh, cheering up. Dad tapped the side of his nose. It's a surprise, he said. On Christmas morning, Josh leapt out of bed and looked around for presents. He searched his room, around the fireplace and the living room, and he couldn't find a single one. He took his present for Dad and ran into the bedroom. Wake up, Dad! Dad opened his eyes. Merry Christmas, said Josh, handing him a present. Dad sat up. Crikey, a present for me? He unwrapped it. It was a large lump of clay. Wow, said Dad. A big clay thingamabob. Just what I needed. I made it myself, said Josh proudly. You beauty, said Dad, and he hugged him. I've never seen a thingamabob that good before. Josh waited for Dad to give him a present, but he didn't. They dressed and had breakfast, and still no presents. Josh gave Scout a squeaky toy, and the happy dog rushed around the garden and came back with something for Josh, an old bone. Thanks, said Josh sadly. It looks like that's the only present that I'm going to get. Mum rang Josh to wish him a Merry Christmas. Mum, Dad didn't give me anything, said Josh. Dad's going to give you a lovely holiday, said Mum. Yeah, said Josh in a small voice. He would still have liked a present that he could unwrap, though, even just a tiny one. Dad said he was going out to the shed to do a small job. Can I come and help, said Josh. No, said Dad. You can help by doing the dishes. Josh watched Dad disappear into the shed. No presents, no fun. I wish I was back with Mum, he muttered to himself. Dad came back. Now perhaps the fun would begin. I've got a wee job for you, said Dad. Oh no, thought Josh. I'd like you to go and pick some peaches. He handed Josh a bag. What was wrong with Dad? Christmas wasn't supposed to be like this. As Josh began picking peaches, Scout barked and shot off after a hare. Josh looked up and something white caught his eye. It was a piece of paper tied to a low branch in the tree. Josh untied it and the note said, If of surprises you are fond, you will find one in the pond. Awesome, said Josh. I love surprises. He ran through the bush to the pond, and there on the water was a mother duck with 6 tiny yellow and black ducklings. He stayed very still so it didn't frighten them. They came up really close. Were they the surprise? He looked into the water and saw a glass bottle floating nearby with a piece of paper in it. He lifted it out and pulled out the cork. Pop! A piece of paper slid out, followed by barley sugar, his favourite sweet. He sucked on it as he read the note, trying to find clue number 3. Have a look for a Christmas tree. Josh was surrounded by trees, but none of them looked like a Christmas tree. He walked around the bush searching. Josh heard Scout barking and he saw him looking up. Josh tipped his head back, and there in the tree above him he saw coloured balls, tinsel, even a fairy hanging upside down from a branch. Josh heard so Dad had tied a big pointing finger glove to her hand, and it was pointing at a hole in the tree. Josh laughed. He put his hand in and he pulled something out. A pocket knife! How cool! There was another clue. It said, if your treasure hunt needs a boost, go and look where the caribou roost. Laughing and giving little leaps of excitement, Josh raced through the bush to where the wood pigeons loved to sit in the tower tree. Josh searched under the tree and he climbed the tree and he thought, Dad has put clues on the branch, a pond, a hole. Where now? Josh noticed a stick poking out of the ground with the leaves on it facing downwards. He pulled out the stick and the dirt was all soft around it, and he began digging. A box! He opened it. Crikey, he laughed. Inside was a brand new compass. He read the next clue. Take 10 steps north, 20 west, lift spotty lid to find the rest. Spotty lid? What was Dad talking about? He looked at the compass and he took 10 steps north and then 20 steps west. and he stopped under a tree, and nothing in the branches above, and no hollow in the tree, and no sticks poking up, and no water. He sat down and ate a pitch. Spotty did. He then noticed some toadstools growing nearby. They had spotty tops. Josh poked the biggest one and the top fell off, and Josh could see there was inside it was hollow and there was a piece of paper in it. Wow, super cool, he said. Note read, if surprises are what you're looking for, follow the ferns on the forest floor. So he followed the ferns. What does Dad mean? And then he spotted a piece of broken off punga fern lying upside down on the ground. It was shaped like an arrow and seemed to be pointing, and he followed it and saw another fern frond on the ground, and soon Josh was running fast, following the fern trail. At the end of the trail lay a big bundle of sticks and fern fronds, and Josh looked around. Tucked underneath he found a waterproof torch and a book called The Adventures of Victor Bumblesnort, and there was a note saying, make a hut with the fern and stick and I'll be with you in a tick. Love, Dad. Josh set about building his hut, and then he crawled inside and he tried to make himself comfortable. It was starting to get dark. He turned on his torch and began reading his new book. Soon he was chuckling to himself about the funny things that happened to Victor Bumblesnort. Meanwhile, Dad was coming through the bush with Scout, who had to run back to meet him. Dad had loaded a pack in his back, and he stopped at the toadstools and saw that Josh had taken the lid off and found the clue. Crikey, he said to Scout, what a little cracker. Dad went straight to the hut and Josh ran to greet him. Thanks, Dad. Thanks so much for the cool treasure hunt and all the presents. That's okay, Josh. Happy Christmas. Now I've got a few more surprises, said Dad. Dad took off his pack and opened it, and he pulled out a belt with a leather pouch attached to it. I made it just the right size for your pocket knife and compass, he said. Wow, said Josh, strapping it on. Awesome. Thanks, Dad. Next, Dad took out the gas cooker, a frying pan, some bread, tomato sauce and sausages. And while the sausages sizzled in the pan, Dad told Josh tramping stories. These sausages are yummy, said Josh, dipping his third one in a puddle of tomato sauce and munching it. Dad showed Josh how to sharpen sticks with his pocket knife after that, and he brought out a packet of marshmallows, and they skewered them onto the sticks and toasted them over the fire until they were soft in the middle and crisp on the outside, and they were delicious. When they finished eating, Josh and his dad lay on their backs looking at the stars through a gap in the trees. Look at that, that's the Southern Cross, Dad pointed to the stars, and there's the Iron Pot and the Milky Way, and a roo-roo flew over their heads with a sudden whirring of wings. It called, another roo-roo answered it, and Dad showed Josh how to cup his hands to make a roo-roo call. A real roo-roo answered him. Cool, it thinks I'm another bird, said Josh. Dad, do we have to go home? This is so much fun. Crikey, no, said Dad. We're staying right here all night. He rolled out their two sleeping bags side by side and they both climbed in. Scout came to lie at their feet. Thanks, Dad, murmured Josh as he drifted off to sleep. This bush Christmas has been a cracker. Well, his Christmas turned out good after all, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit sad to start off with.
Yeah.
But you don't always have to have actual toys for presents. You can have awesome things as well.
No.
Night, night. God bless.